Hey, what's up guys, Bajheera here. What we're going to do now is look at some of the projected changes for warriors in patch 5.2. First thing to look at is Warbringer, in addition to all the effects it normally has, is going to apply a 50% slow. And something they didn't tell you is that now Warbringer also works with the glyph of Blitz. So your Warbringer charge stun will stun up to 2 additional targets. The cost of enraged regen has been reduced to 30 rage from 60 rage. Although the healing effect of Second Wind has been restored to 3%, the rage component is now 15 rage over 10 seconds rather than 20. In order to carry out that survivability nerf that they wanted to give warriors, they've nerfed defensive stance down to 15% unless you're spec'd into proc, in which the Unwavering Sentinel talent will give you that extra 10% damage reduction while in defensive stance. To round out the changes to the healing talent tree, Impending Victory now heals you for 15% of your maximum health, up from 10%, around 37k. Now this next change, except for maybe the defensive stance nerf, is the thing that I think is going to affect us warriors the most. This is the Shockwave nerf. The cooldown is being doubled from 20 seconds to 40 seconds. Note that if you hit 3 or more targets with your Shockwave, the cooldown is reduced to 20 seconds, but the tooltip states that you must deal damage to 3 targets. So for instance, if you miss, the cooldown remains 40 seconds, so make sure you're hit capped. Even though it is a considerable nerf, like Second Wind, I still think that Shockwave is probably going to be our best choice in this tree. Stormbolt is also receiving a small buff to the damage component. Rather than dealing 100% weapon damage, it will deal 125% weapon damage base, and it will continue to deal 375% weapon damage on targets that are permanently immune to stuns. We also receive one change to one of our glyphs. Glyph of Death from Above will no longer increase heroic leap damage by 100%. It will continue to reduce the cooldown of the ability by 15 seconds, but they thought the damage component was gratuitous. So in the current build of 5.2 PTR, it has been removed. We're currently seeing that Shield Barrier now scales approximately 10% less efficiently with attack power, and the base damage of Shield Slam and Revenge has been increased by 150%, but these abilities now scale approximately 10% less efficiently with attack power as well. For all you Fury Warriors out there, Blood Surge now reduces the rage cost of your next 3 Wild Strikes by 30, up from 20. Arms Warriors are also seeing a few changes in their abilities and mechanics. Slam now deals 220% weapon damage, up from 190% weapon damage. Taste for Blood has also been completely reworked. Rather than having a relationship between Overpower and Heroic Strike, any time you would proc an Overpower, be it through a Mortal Strike or from a target dodging, you will receive 2 charges of the use of Overpower, and you can stack up to 5 uses of the Overpower ability. And you can see how that works here on a target dummy. All I'm going to be doing here is using Mortal Strike. So I use Mortal Strike once, and I receive 2 charges of the Overpower ability. I use Mortal Strike again, and I receive 2 more charges. You can see on my Overpower ability tooltip, it now has 5 stacked up to it, since I used Mortal Strike 3 times. Now I'll Colossus Smash and just start spamming Overpower as much as I can. So you can use Overpower 5 times in a row. Or you can continue to stack those up with your other abilities and maybe just keep Overpower so you never have to not have something to use during a global cooldown, maybe spamming Heroic Strike in the meantime as you continue to generate rage from your auto attacks, charges, and mortal strikes. I'm honestly not seeing these changes affect our warrior playstyle very much. It will obviously change how effective we are as a class, since we are receiving quite a few nerfs. Some that affect our survivability, like the defensive stance nerf, and some that affect us in every aspect of our game, like the changes we're seeing to Shockwave, since it's such an effective peel for both us and our teammates, and of course as an offensive ability and an offensive stun that can potentially catch an entire team. All in all, warriors are looking to have a strong showing in patch 5.2.